The bluff is a simulation that aims misleading the other negotiation sides by making them believe in something that is not real. It is very common in card games, where a player simulates having better cards than he really has, trying to intimidate the other players and induce them to give up. Like this player, some negotiators use bluffing tactics to take advantage. This happens mainly when their cards are not good, that is, when this negotiation side has less power and/or when its BATNA is weak. Also, like card games, negotiators that often use this tactic end losing credibility, with the other negotiators considering as high the probability that they are bluffing and consequently rendering this tactic ineffective. However, one must consider that a bluff surgically used in a very specific situation and not often can help a negotiator with a weak BATNA to achieve better outcomes. But usually, it is a dangerous procedure and it must be avoided whenever it's possible. The risk, besides the negotiator's credibility loss, is that the bluff is called, that is, the other negotiator side does not buy the bluff and makes the bluffer show his cards. For example, in a salary negotiation, the employee may try to bluff by saying he has a higher salary job offer and he will only stay in the current company if he gets a salary raise. The boss can call the bluff, saying, "Okay, so you may go to the other company." In this case, or the employee shows his cards, admitting that there is no such proposal and he was bluffing, or without any explanation, he accepts to stay in the company without a salary raise and loses credibility, or he leaves the company for good and looks for another job. These three alternatives are far worse than the initial situation before the negotiation. In complex situations, there are other, more sophisticated simulations that can work. In the Second World War, before the D-Day of Normandy invasion in 1944, the Allies simulated a disembark in another area of France, near Calais, having used counter-espionage and even inflatable tanks to deceive German pilots that were flying over the English coast. It is not a negotiation situation, but it shows that in some cases, the smokescreen or bluff can be useful to induce the other side to make decisions that it would not make if the simulation did not exist. There are less risky and more common ways of bluffing in negotiations. For example, one negotiation side can exaggerate the importance of one of its interests just for later exaggerating in a future concession involving the same interest. In a simple example, a car buyer may insist that he'll only buy a red car, and when the salesman has just a blue car available, the buyer can ask for a discount in order to make the deal. The color of the car was not so important after all. In long negotiations, uncovering a bluff in one round may lead to the interruption or even cancellation of the whole negotiation process. We'll continue in the next video.